This is Nachirutimana Peter. Today I have an interesting story about Chinua Achebe's biography. He is an African writer. Chinua Achebe was born on 16 November 1930 and died on the 21st March 2013. He is a Nigerian novelist, poet, and critic who is regarded as the central figure of modern African literature. His first novel, Things Fall Apart, 1958, occupies a pivotal place in African literature and remains the most widely studied, translated, and read African novel. Along with Things Fall Apart, he is no longer at ease, 1960, and Hour of God, 1964, complete African trilogy. Later novels include The Man of the People, 1966, and Anthems of the Savannah, 1987. In the West, Achebe is often referred to as the father of African literature, although he vigorously rejected the characterization. Was born in Ogidi, colonial Nigeria. Achebe's childhood was influenced by both Igbo traditional culture and post-colonial Christianity. He excelled in school and attended what is now the University of Ibadan, where he became fiercely critical of how Western literature depicted Africa. Moving to Lagos after graduation, he worked for the Nigerian Broadcasting Service, NBS, and garnered international attention for his 1958 novel Things Fall Apart. In less than 10 years, he would publish 4 further novels through the publisher Heinemann, with whom he began the Heinemann African Writers series and galvanized the careers of African writers such as Ngugi wa Thiong'o and Flora Nwapa. Achebe sought to escape the colonial perspective that framed African literature at the time and drew from the traditions of Igbo people, Christian influences, and the clash of Western and African values to create a uniquely African voice. He wrote in and defended the use of English, describing it as a means to reach a broad audience, particularly readers of colonial nations. In 1975, he gave a controversial lecture, An Image of Africa, Racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness, which was a landmark in post-colonial discourse. Published in Massachusetts Review, it featured the criticism of Albert Schweitzer and Joseph Conrad, whom Achebe described as thoroughgoing racist. When the region of Biafra broke away from Nigeria in 1967, Achebe supported Biafran independence and acted as ambassador for the people of the movement. The subsequent Nigerian civil war ravaged the populace, and he appealed to the people of Europe and the Americas for aid. When the Nigerian government retook the region in 1970, he involved himself in political parties but soon became disillusioned by his frustration over the continuous corruption and elitism he witnessed. He lived in the United States for several years in the 1970s and returned to the US in 1990 after a car crash left him partially paralyzed. He stayed in the US in a 19-year tenure at Bard College as a professor of languages and literature, winning the 2007 Man Booker International Prize from 2009 until his death. he was professor of African Studies at Brown University. Achebe's work has been extensively analyzed and a vast body of scholarly work discussing it has arisen. In addition to his seminal novels, Achebe's oeuvre includes numerous short stories, poetry, essays, and children's books. A Taito Igbo chief himself, his style relies heavily on the Igbo oral tradition and combines straightforward narration with representations of folk stories, proverbs, and oratory. Among the many themes his works cover are culture and colonialism, masculinity and femininity, politics, and history. His legacy is celebrated annually at the Chinua Achebe Literary Festival. Thank you so much. Would you like more stories? Welcome back here. Thank